For all the people who judge without knowing, just throw the peace, I tell them good vibes only, yeah. They were hating, but we didn't even notice.
Hi guys, and welcome to Wake Up World.
Enlightenment Now.
I'm Erik, and
I am Duchess Carol.
and we are here today on podcast number 3 to discuss spirituality and enlightenment and what it means to us.
Yeah.
And
what our experiences have been and kind of how we got through it. If there's any tips or tricks that got us through certain times, because it's not always easy.
it's not an easy. I hear that it is for other people. I hear that it's easy, and they had a very easy enlightenment or a spiritual awakening, and I'm like, I didn't get that like at all.
I think it's because I'm really stubborn. I kind of have to have that shake and wake thing.
Shake and bake, shake and
Wake up.
Seriously, because like for real, like I went through so many processes that none of it was easy for me, and it was a very terrifying time of my life. And now I'm just happy to be able to share my experience with others, and I'm glad that I have her to lean on, because when I feel like I'm losing my mind or going crazy or something's not right,
I remind him he's not.
You're fine, Erik. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, there's other people like us out there. I'm like, okay.
Yes.
Thank God for our group too, because I might not post a lot, but I research a lot, I work a lot, and I like to read, and that's just what I'm really into right now. But as far as spirituality, what do you think
about spirituality? Well, I think that like what I wanted to start off with was, it's kind of like when people are like, well, how do you start? What made you start? And it's kind of that whole, there has to be some sort of a trauma, usually, is what I found with most people. And with that trauma, you're like, who am I? Why am I here? And it starts asking those questions, and that is just the door that opens spirituality. When you find out more about yourself and that you're bigger than what you thought you were, and that you have more power over your life than you thought or was taught.
Taught. Because I was taught that I had to walk a certain timeline in a certain way and think a certain way and do.
And there was always this or else, do it or else, and it's like,
and that or else normally has to do with hell, and I'm like, I don't get it. A lot.
I was pretty much like, can you just save me a room? I know I'm going. So
now that I've started to wake up, I have like my coworkers and my friends that'll message me like, I want to wake up, and I'm like, how do I do it? And I'm like, I mean, you can, for me, I say, accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and then, start looking for the signs and the synchronicities. And I don't even know if that works, but now I have my coworkers coming to me like, I'm getting 11/11, and today is 11/11, so happy 11/11, everyone. Happy New Earth Day.
Yes.
So excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, the energy has been crazy. She woke up with a migraine.
Woke up with a migraine. Had to do a cord cutting, and that helped. That instantly helped, so.
I woke up and just did healing frequencies for the last 2 days. Like that's all I've been, is just researching and listening and healing. But that's where we're going at. As far as spirituality, my take on it is, I was raised knowing that there's Jesus, and then there's heaven and there's hell, but no one really taught me. And I'm 36. Don't tell no one that though. I'm 22.
He's 22.
I look like a man today. We'll discuss that later. But I wasn't taught that, the divine spirit was inside of me, or that I was connected to God at all times. I've always felt that I was separated from God.
Yeah, there was always an outside there, and, inside, like, I am separate from Him. Well, for me, whenever people are like, how do I start with the Enlightenment, things like that, I'm like, well, most people that I come in contact with have prayed their whole life, because we live in the Bible Belt. Go figure. Everybody has a religion that they've come from, and most of them have praying in them. And I'm like, okay, well, praying is putting your requests out there to the universe, to God, to whatever you want to call it. But you have to meditate, and meditate is listening. So you can put out all these requests, but if you're not listening, you're not going to get the answers you need. And so that was like a big step for me, is quietening the mind. Like we're out here in nature and just sitting here and listening to the waterfall. And if you sit here long enough, things will start coming into your mind that would normally not, because we're so covered with technology.
Learned on my personal meditation experiences is, at first I didn't know how to meditate, and then I just started asking myself questions, and then that voice in my head would start answering those questions. And I was like, oh. So and then yesterday I was learning more about our higher selves and stuff, so I'm like, I talk to my higher self more and more, and tell my higher self how much I love my higher self. And I wake up now in a whole another aspect of life where I wake up, I do my Our Father prayer,
Yes.
the Lord's Prayer, and then I set my intentions for the day, and I say like stuff like, I'm ready to see what you're going to throw at me today, but also I'm excited to see what I'm going to be encountering and what I'm going to overcome, and I'm going to look for you in every aspect of what I do. And then I try to be just a better person all around. And even when I still get attacked by other people through in person, or they don't get it, or they say I'm into witchcraft or whatever, I just I learn how to soak it all in and just be like, Eric, hold your tongue, because I'm learning that that's a very powerful thing. And sometimes I want to say like F you, and you want to, because that's like what ego and your mind wants to tell you to say, like screw these people. But at the same time, I'm just like, I just try not to speak any negativity toward them, and understand that I'm on a completely different level.
Yes.
And they might think that I'm crazy, and I'm cool with that. Like, at least I feel, for the first time at 36 years old, I feel very happy, very blessed, and very, what's the word I'm looking for? Serene. Like, I feel happy. Like, I feel happy just to wake up and to be alive and to be part of this experience, and to know that I'm literally like in the Hunger Games, like if you look at it that way, or in the Matrix, and I'm like you can make this fun. It doesn't have to be so serious. It is a serious thing, but you don't have to be so serious about it.
It's really all how your perspective of it. Like, for me, a lot of people will be really serious, and for me, I try to find the fun in things. And I try to find something that always makes me smile, because I spent a life of being on antidepressants, lots of different ones, and was for many years on antidepressants. I was told by several psychiatrists that I was going to be on them forever. And once I awakened, I was like, this is me. I am normally happy.
Right.
I knew it was happy, like somewhere inside me, and that's what it was. It was just like, I felt like I was being held down, like, you've got to believe this way. I was held down by the thumb of religion for me, and
medication too.
Yeah, and medication numbed me to where I didn't feel so much. So
we got a spirit guide. It's what about enlightenment? What is your definition of enlightenment?
For me, it's just whenever it's kind of the aha moment you get. Like, spirituality is just kind of all encompassing of realizing something's bigger than you. But enlightenment it's almost like when you get to go through the baby steps of, aha, I manifested something. I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know that was possible. Or meditation, like that was a big one, because me having attention deficit problems, people treat it like it's bad. It's like, no, I just am more imaginative, and I do get distracted, but it's
super easily.
Yeah, my mind is a vacation. It's not a torture chamber. Like, some people they won't go into their mind or meditate because they're like so scared of finding out about themselves. And for me, I'm like, it's a playground.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Everyone's like, Eric, you found your spiritual self, but you're not. Like, I walk my walk and talk my talk to an extent, but I understand that I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to have my mishaps and my bumps. But for the first time in my life, I'm learning not to judge myself and to actually speak out about the things that I've gone through. So, like, if I did something wrong or whatever, I'm not ashamed of saying any of that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, normally I would hide all that in, but now I'm confiding in others and other people, and like saying, hey, this is what I'm going through, and this is what I'm experiencing, and then I go from there.
But so I think a lot of people are just scared of going within their mind. So that's why they, like with meditation and learning about ourselves, it's scary. People don't want to know what's in there. Like, it's here.
Like I was telling her earlier, like the stuff that I'm researching right now would probably scare majority of my friends or my family, and I'm pretty sure they're already concerned. But I've gone from Christianity to researching Wiccanism, to researching paganism, to researching Luciferianism, to researching the Way, to researching Yahweh, to researching
Egyptian
Sumerian tablets. Like I'm on. People are like, "What? You're turning away from Christianity?" I'm not turning away from Christianity. I'm just opening my mind up to all these other avenues.
Exactly.
And realizing that they all kind of have the same underlying tone. And when people are like, want to attack, whatever, I'm like, no. And I had my enlightenment experience or my spiritual awakening a year and a half ago, and I know for a fact, still to this day, that I'm completely different than everyone else. I know that I'm a powerful spiritual being, and I know that I am able to manifest things that I've never been able to, like to speak something into existence, or to speak about someone and to have them show up. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, wow, I really need to really watch what I say and think sometimes now, because now I'm realizing, like, I have this power, but you have this power, and we all have this power, and Then
and that's where that term came from. Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
Right.
Well,
and that's one of my favorite songs by Pussycat Dolls. Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
But yeah, there's truth in little sayings. There's truth in all these things, and so yeah, be careful what you're thinking about, because you want to give energy to that which you're really hoping that you'll get, not dreading that you'll get.
Right? It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. So another thing, with awakening and when people start to awaken, someone actually messaged me, because I get so many messages now just from strangers asking me things, and I'm like, if you can go walk in nature, that'll get you out of your headspace that you're in right now, and it will help you to get into a different mindset. And it's like, just leave your phone, just walk outside with it. I know it sounds really hard. I can't leave my phone.
I have to photograph where I'm going, because it's so beautiful. A year and a half ago, you would have never caught me out here, ever. Like, this is just not me. And I used to have a partner back in the past that liked to go hiking and fishing, and I was like, nope, I just want to lay out and drink beer and tan in the sun. And now I'm here all like a little kid, thinking this is the funnest thing I've ever. I prefer going into nature for my meditation. Or for me, my meditations is really in salt baths, and I get all my crystals, and I have a ton now, and I put them all in there. Yeah. And cleansing my aura. I love that.
You have to be careful with stones, which we'll do a podcast about crystals and things like that.
Okay.
But with some stones like selenite, you can't you get them wet. Yeah, so you have to be careful with your stones when you do bathe with them, or I set mine on the ledge, or I'll hold.
I put them in the full on in the bathtub with me. Except for selenite.
No, but yeah, quartz is it's a magnifier, so that's really good when you put a magnifying glass in a meditation pool of salt. I mean, that's some energy going right there.
Right. I'm going to do it. I'm definitely, since it's 11:11 a day, I'll definitely know I'm going to be doing a crystal salt bath tonight.
Yeah,
for sure. Because I just need to.
Same here, yeah.
And since it's 11:11, I need to set my intentions for this new year that we're going into. And there's a lot that I want to do, and there's a lot that I feel like I have a lot of different paths to help change the world. And
we'll have to get us a podcast bus so we can travel.
I was using my notebook that you gave me. And so I was in my head, and I was like, what is one of my friends said, just choose an avenue. And so I was like, how do I want to change the world? And then it came to me just like that. And I wrote it down, and I was like, that's exactly probably the very first thing that I'm going to do. And that's where I'm going to go from that. So
yeah, good. Another thing is when you're meditating, of course, you're going to start to hear this little, if you haven't heard it your whole life, which you probably have.
Everyone has.
It's that still small voice inside you. When I grew up, I was like, that's the voice of God within you. That's how he talks. He talks through feelings. If you feel sick to your stomach, you're less likely to go do whatever that is. For me, it was I would start to not feel good if I was not supposed to go somewhere, and come to find out there was a car wreck, and I could have been in it. It's that's
crazy. I think you talked about that, or I read something about that, how someone was on the road and that car wreck happened 10 minutes before they got there. And that recently just happened to me this past week. I was an hour late to work, and was like, had I left on time, I probably would have been in that area.
Yes.
And I ended up taking all these detours, and I was looking off to the right, I'm cool with being late. And then I would get 888 or 777 on a license plate. This is why I was took it as a sign, this is why I was supposed to be late, or this is why I didn't leave the house on time. And I'm I'm cool with that.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I can hear what y'all are thinking, and it's not back when the dinosaurs roamed. I promise I'm not that old. Anyway, but when I was in high school, there was a tornado that came through Oklahoma, and because being a girl, I take longer to get ready, but I must have listened to my intuition, because I just took my time, and we were 15 minutes late. The tornado had passed over that highway. We absolutely would have been going right through that path at that time. Because of how long it takes to get from where we were getting ready to where the prom was. So yeah, that little still small voice, it saves you.
Going back to that, how you found spirituality enlightenment, I think that's when most of us wake up, is you get saved at a point when you realize that you should not be getting saved.
Yeah, you're why am I here? I shouldn't be alive.
Why are you choosing me? What's going on? I am definitely not the one that's worthy of all this. And that's exactly how mine was, where I was like, what?
Yeah, for me it was my dad. He was passing away, and he was so young, and he was just so vital, and just worked out and everything. I never saw him as old. And he he found out he had pancreatic cancer, and he told me, he was like, I never thought that this would happen to me. I never thought I would go this young. And even though he was 70, he was like me. He was really young. He looked 20 years younger than he was before he found out he had cancer. But like, yeah, that really, his question made me ask things. And then I was married at the time, so my mother-in-law, she found out she had cancer. And so like between both sides, it really gave me a wake-up call of, what am I doing here? You only have a span of time on this earth
for a little bit
for this time. Yeah, make it worth it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I went from there. Was like, you have this span, make it worth it. And then, and then hopefully you don't have to keep coming back a million times, figuring out karma.
I still love how people don't believe in reincarnation, and I'm just like, I know that my family personally probably thinks that I'm insane because I believe in reincarnation. They're like, we did not teach you reincarnation. And I'm like, I know you didn't. I learned that from something higher up.
Yes.
There's something bigger and higher up that I've definitely learned. When you just look at how people have physical traits of animals, and you learn that, I'm like, this is absolutely crazy. So I look at people every day at work, and I'm like, no, he was a turtle in a past life. Because there's this one dude that looks like a straight up turtle. Like a turtle. Like he looks like a walking turtle. And I'm like, you look like a turtle from the Ninja Turtle movies. And I'm like, he definitely had to be a turtle in a past life. And then I remind myself of a ram or a sheep or what. It's just hilarious.
My oldest daughter, Stubbs, no kidding. And she would okay what I'm about to say here. She's very connected with crystals. She can hold any type of rock, tell you about it, tell you kind of what it's feeling. And us growing up Christian and being raised that way, it was like, where did this come from? I don't know what I'm feeling. It's so weird. Well, with spirituality, you're so much more open to
experiences.
What is happening, and like just feeling it and knowing that's the truth. Well, yeah, she had to have been a rock in her last life. She's never been good with her feet. She always stubs her toes, and her hands.
Oh, how funny.
And her little feet are so tiny. I mean, she's 23 years old. Her feet are like a 5.5.
She could have been an animal with a really, I don't know, we'll have to restart one of those animals.
But animals can walk or swim, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she was probably a rock. She really connects to
She was
stones.
a tumbling rock.
Yeah.
From the side of a mountain.
Yeah, she definitely connects with stones and things like that. Whereas, I always had like connected with angels and like didn't think anything about it until, I was told that that's where my realm was. And I'm like, that makes sense. Everything makes sense. And then I started getting visions of the past. And that's what's really cool with spirituality. And when you're awakening is you'll start to have kind of like these flashbacks of recognizing where you're from. Even if you don't get a direct message saying where you're from, it'll be like, that resonates with me like so deeply.
It's crazy because I had dreams last night of picking up firewood, but also had dreams of friends and family from back home. But for the first time this dream, I've heard of astral traveling. I'm not sure if I've actually ever done it correctly, but it felt like I couldn't see myself in the dream. I could see all of them in their homes, in their houses, and I was seeing like from above, like, this is what's going on. And I was like, so weird. And I woke up and was like, I dreamt of y'all. I saw y'all. That's really strange because I was like, I wasn't present in the dream, but I could definitely, my eyes were like looking through the walls of seeing stuff. And I'm like, that's something different for me to first experience. So I'm like really learning. Plus I also did sleep with one of my crystals under my pillow that helps with astral travel. So I was like, very neat. The first time it happened, it was kind of scary, and I saw this very dark being. And then I had got that thing where paralysis in your sleep, so I had tried to move in the middle of my astral travel, and then I realized that I was stuck. And then I felt my soul sit up, and then I felt my body sit up afterwards. So I saw like two of me sit up in bed and was like, whoa, what was that? And more and more, like, it gets me more interested, and people will be like, you're messing with black art. And I'm like, I'm not
because
scared
normally
of
when people throughout the ages, people would get to this point of saying, is there more to life? And when they would have an experience like what you just explained, they would stop right there because it's got to be evil. It's like, no, you have to go through some dark to get to the light. Because if you didn't have the dark, you wouldn't appreciate the light. I mean, if you had good all the time, you'd be like, yeah, and Whereas, you know, a lot of us have had rough lives, so it's like, you know what? I woke up, I can get out of bed on my own today. I love today. I'm blessed.
And I'm in the moment.
Yes.
No, like I'm having a blessed day right now.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and that's practicing mindfulness. That's, you know, is just being in the moment.
Being kind. I bought 2 homeless people dinner the other day. Like I went to, I always go to Taco Cabana. That's just my thing. I looked over. There's this man that's always reading. He's reading the same book that I'm reading, which is called Jesus Calling. And then he's homeless, and I saw him there, and so I just walked over and introduced myself again. He was sitting with some other people. Asked him if he had ate, and he was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, I'm here, so I'm gonna go ahead and buy you another meal." Bought him a meal and the other guy a meal, and everyone in the restaurant's like looking at me like I'm the weirdo, and I'm like. I'm looking around the restaurant like, do y'all not see that there's people over here that need to eat? Like, come on, like.
Yeah.
And I went about my day, and I felt really good at my good deed. Like, I'm always doing my good deed every day, and a year and a half ago, I could care less if I did a good deed to anyone. Like,
and I think it's like, for me, it's just realizing that humans are humans. There's no, it doesn't matter if you're driving a Lamborghini or a broken down Honda. It doesn't matter. It's like people are people. It doesn't matter what class you're in. We're all the same.
Yeah, and well, for me, it's like, because you're a mom, so you understand that feed the baby before you feed myself kind of thing. I've never had that, had to have that experience in my life. So now I'm getting to this point to where I'm like at a restaurant, I'm like, feed someone else less fortunate before I feed myself. I might not have kids, so who can I help? Like, let me feed my brother or my sister that's younger than me or something, or that's younger than me in a spiritual way. Like, let me help you.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, I learned to love it, and sometimes I sit there and I wonder, like, Eric, you don't have enough money in that bank account, but then I'm like, God's gonna take care of it. I'm helping someone else, and I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna stress about it. And I don't find myself stressing about finances anymore. Like, and
that's one huge thing with spirituality. I just feel like I'm focused on, if I focus my service on others,
it says that everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, and so that's one good thing about with the spirituality and
it's
awakening.
crazy and sad because I've had to cut off my family in a way of where I just don't want to communicate with them because it's like, you need to do this and you need to pay that and you need to, and I'm like, I ain't worried about that. God told me that I do not need to worry about it. And I understand that they don't understand that, and I'm like, it's fine, whatever. Like, if you want to believe in materialism or you're worried about that, then learn your own lessons on your own point. Because I'm at the point where I'm going to be like, I'm out, I'm done. Like, I don't care anymore. Like,
and we know that you get more of what you focus on. So if all you're worried about is money, then guess what? You're just going to have more money problems just worrying about it.
Smart enough to not even respond. So if something comes up about finances, I just like look at it and delete it. Like, I'm not even worried about this right now. So it's crazy. And then laughing is another thing.
Yes.
Raising our vibrations.
Yes, raising our vibrations. So find the humor in things. You don't have to take everything so seriously.
I laugh at myself all day long.
I do too.
I have this habit of recording myself on Snapchat. And then I like to watch it at the end of the day. And because, I can't sing. I can sing. Let me rephrase that. I can sing. See, I'm learning how to speak it into existence. Because I was told I was tone deaf, but I'm not tone deaf. And I can sing. But I like to try to test myself singing, and then I sit back and I watch myself at the end of the night, and I just laugh so hard. I'm like, you're hilarious. I love myself. I'm like, it's insane. And people always tell me at work, like, you didn't work yesterday. It was so boring. It was like, it was a mundane day. I'm like, I take all that for granted, and then I realize, like, no, I really change people's
that's the deal.
Days
is if you find the happiness in everything, if you find the fun and make light of things that should be, a little more serious, like with work, for example. I mean, just even smiling really it can change people's days. Yeah. And with people like you and, me, we bring a sparkle to the room. I mean, we know this because that's the way it is. People are like, you weren't here. It was boring. It's like, okay.
Thank God you're back. And I'm like, I didn't know my vibe really affected everyone like that, but it truly does. And, and I see how the world puts other people into your thing to see if it's going to mess up your vibe. And I'd let someone mess up my vibe for like 2 days, and then I went right back to being myself. Like, no, I'm in control of this vibe. I control this.
That's what happened with me this morning with the migraine. Is I somehow allowed someone into my bubble, and they attached to me. Their cords attached to me, and so I had to disconnect that. And after I did the meditation and disconnected cords, I was myself again. And So like that's another thing with spirituality. You have to be very careful about.
When you meditate, what do you like to do personally?
With meditation, for me, I do a lot of guided ones, but I do like to just sit and have everything turned off and just, you know, enjoy, just be, basically. I mean, it's the easiest way I can explain it. One of my favorite meditations is to have salt baths, because I feel like salt baths for me is like having air.
Right.
If I don't have one at least every other day, I'm just not myself.
I gotta have it at least once a week.
I feel like someone's without a Snickers bar or something. I am just not myself.
Becoming a diva like me.
Yeah.
It's crazy for me, like if I'm gonna, I guess because I'm such a, I wouldn't consider myself a newbie, but I'm a newbie because it's been a year and a half. But like, I'm one of those, like, I gotta light Palo Santo, I gotta light sage, I gotta light some incense, I gotta really do a card reading quick, I gotta get my crystals, I gotta hold, I gotta be silent, I gotta turn on a candle. My roommate's like, your meditation sequence is absolutely insane. I'm like, well, I've never taken the time to take time for myself like this in my past anyways.
Yeah.
I
and
really
it is
cherish,
so important to take time for yourself.
and for me to even get in a crystal bath, it's probably like a crystal salt bubble bath at that. It's
Whoa,
like,
bubbles?
Bubble bath, yeah.
Oh
it's
my
at
God.
least like a 30-minute prelude just before I can even get into the water, because I'm
just run
setting
up to
everything
my
up in
salt
my yeah.
I am so gonna get bubbles now.
And she's like, have you taken a bath yet? I'm like, I'm still getting ready for the bath, like literally like lighting stuff and still doing everything that I'm like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I usually do the heavy duty thing like that whenever I'm lighting sage and different incense and things like that. And I have singing bowls. And usually that's a heavy duty, something huge has happened in my life.
Right.
And I will go in and I'm like, let's wipe out every energy except for mine,
Right.
you know, because it's usually something huge has happened. So yeah, so if you ever see pictures of my bathtub with lots of crystals and everything around it, you know something's happened in Carol's life. But usually after, I'm always smiling. So.
I love it. I'm gonna do one tonight.
Yeah. But I think everybody starts out like that. They kind of start out doing everything they possibly can, and eventually you figure out what works for you.
Yep.
And sometimes you need to just sage your house.
I realize
sometimes
that
you need to
like
do that.
sage by itself
Yeah.
really irritates my eyes. But so we're going on to about the difference between ego and spirit. I guess that's how you say it. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, for me it's like ego is more of the humanness, and spirituality is your spirit. So it's almost like that's how I separate things. Yeah, that's for my own self.
For me,
Other
I
people
guess
might do it different.
what I think of ego when I think of myself is ego is what everyone else wants me to be, and me trying to fit into that. Like I need to look a certain way, I need to act a certain way.
Yeah.
I need to
Makes sense,
be
yeah.
popular, and I need to have pecs and abs and gorgeous. Like, and for me, spirit is realizing that I'm perfect the way I am, and I don't need
that
any
is
of
a
you
good
to,
explanation, yeah.
to judge me. Like I
Yeah.
literally, I'm just at that point where I just don't
Yeah.
give up anymore.
Yeah.
Like I just don't. And everyone's like, you used to take so much more pride in yourself and your appearance. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I used to put on makeup and I would spend hours doing my hair. And I'm at a point where I'm like, I just wake up and I love the way that I look. That people, to them, they think of it as lazy. I'm like, I'm actually learning how to just embrace what I am. And I'm going through that
I'll get it
process
eventually,
still.
guys. I will.
Eventually I'll get back to that part where like I want to like do myself up for creator, but I'm at a point right now
Yeah.
where I'm just learning how to just love myself
Yeah.
as I am. And people
Yeah, and
talk
another
about that at work, and they're like, they say that they're gorgeous, whatever, and I'm like, I'm gorgeous. And they look at me like, and I'm like, but I am, and I
Yeah.
know that I am.
Yeah.
I'm like, and the funny thing is for them to like see, I saw that look in their eyes, like, this fool's crazy, and I'm like, it's cool. I'm like, you spent all that time getting ready because you don't feel gorgeous.
Yeah.
I feel gorgeous,
yeah.
and these were men.
Yeah. And you know, when you can embrace every scar, every dent, bump, whatever,
that stuff.
pimple, that,
This crazy
that is
hair.
really,
Look at this hair.
that is,
I love it.
it's beautiful.
Thank you,
know,
friend. I know, right? Like
My hair is actually
seriously.
growing in
I love
curly
it.
now.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
But another way that I differentiate things with when it comes to spirituality is like anything spiritual to me deals with love. If it has to do with fear, anger, which anger is just amplified fear,
Yep.
There's either fear or love. And if it has to do with love, it has to do with spirituality to me. You know, everything else, it comes from an ego point of view. You know, that's where fear comes in, and anger and bitterness and all those other
Other
things.
trying to control others.
So, yeah.
And I'm like at a point where I'm like, I'm just trying to free
Yeah.
others. Like, trying to point out like you're being controlled, and they don't. I'm like, your mind's controlling you, or you're letting society control you, and they think that they're not. And I'm like, but you are.
Yeah.
But I guess they it's hard for them to even understand that because they have not had their wake up call yet.
Yes.
And me and my roommate talked about that last night because I asked her last night. I said, friend, like we've been roommates for 5 years, but she saw me go through my awakening a year and a half ago, and I asked her like, a year and a half, and you still have not had your moment. And I was like, do you feel like you've woken up yet? And she's like, no. And she was like, she sees the stuff that I'm into and that she's getting into as well. Yeah. She's like, I really feel that when she said when she has her awakening moment, she's going to call me and she'll be like, friend, guess what? I just woke up. Yeah. And like, she's like, I really think it's going to be like that. And I'll be like, welcome. Like, but she's still waiting for that moment. And so.
And that's what another question we had on our list here is like, how long does it take? Well, for some people it can take months. For some people it takes years, and some people it takes decades, and it really all depends on, like, for me, I was like, what do I have to lose? So I started with meditation, and, it all started kind of with going to a holistic festival, which we're actually getting ready to go to in December. For that too. Yeah, we're going to do a show from there. So, but yeah, that's really interesting that, it takes the time period for awakening and being enlightened can be so different from person to person. It really just depends on that person.
Yeah.
And how dedicated they are to putting time towards themselves, because it's really about taking care of yourself.
Becoming more selfish, but for yourself and in a good aspect. Like,
yeah. Because you can't help others. It's just like being on a plane and putting the oxygen mask on first. You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of someone else. Otherwise, you're going to do a half-assed job of taking care of everyone else if you don't even know how to take care of yourself.
I feel sometimes I'll go through my head like, Eric, you're not who you used to be. You don't want to go hang out with anyone anymore. And it's weird because I find myself judging myself. And then at the same time, I'm like, no, I'm truly happy when I just stay to myself. I don't want to really go be around other people if they're not like us. Like,
exactly.
I have a fun time with this. And
this right here.
Yes. I'm like, but if I'm going out to go have drinks and I hear people like, oh my God, did you see what she was wearing? Oh my God, she's like a bitch. And I'm like, this is what I used to associate myself with. I'm like, this is insane.
Your focus just completely changes.
I cannot seem to get back into it, no matter how much I try. Like, I even go out and I'll have drinks to try to dumb myself down.
Yeah. And that's for me. And when I get in the real frustrating times, I'm like, I just want to go back. I don't want to know any of this anymore. You cannot go back through that doorway. Yeah. Once you've opened the door to it, it's just, you can't
even like my past experience, even if like you have a relapse or something, thinking that it's going to shut your mind off and you're going to be able. No. I'm like, I already went through that, tried that again, and completely different experience when you're like, it does not have the same effect that it did before, and there's no numbing and there's no not knowing what you know, and like, damn, I really failed that test, but now I know that it was a test, and I'm like, bring me some more, I'm ready, let's go. I'm just trying to get to the next level.
What can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? That's kind of, it's just a question thing constantly for me. It's like, what can I learn from this? Okay, this happened. What was it supposed to teach me? What did I get from this?
And then you're getting your synchronicities, and I'm getting mine, and there's... It's insane.
Yeah. So let's see, what else are we going to talk about here with the spirituality is how long does a process take? We talked about that. And do you have to lay down everything like your religion and things like that before you can be spiritual? And what my experience is, I did have to put it aside. And because I was a definite churchgoer and went every Sunday as much as possible unless I was sick. But when I started to see auras and things like that, it became a distraction. So then that was kind of God saying, you need to step back for a minute and just set this aside. You're not putting it away forever. I still believe in Jesus. I believe in how Christianity came to be. I understand all that. But I also added to it, and that's the deal, is you have to open your mind to realizing that there's no I'm right, you're wrong kind of thing, because that's adding division and negativity into the situation of the human race.
I've learned to just what is the slogan is fuck it all. Sorry for the cussing.
We'll make shirts later.
Yeah. But it's F it all. Like seriously, like anything that was forced upon me, taught to me, I got to the point where I just kind of threw it all away and said, you know what, I'm done. I'm done believing in anything or anyone or anything. And I shaved my head and I did the prayer to receive Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And then I said, lead me to what I need to know.
Yes.
And since then, my life has literally fallen into place on a daily basis.
Yeah.
No worries, no.
It's like you had to lay down who you were. I mean, you have to lay down who you were. You had to basically crucify yourself. Is really what it is. You're like, I'm done. Show me the way.
And what I researched on spiritual awakening is that like everyone, this is your resurrection. You're reborn into a whole nother life experience. Like everyone's walking around in their caterpillar stage right now.
Yeah.
And then I'm still going through my cocoon stage, but I'm about to be birthed into this whole other world. But I look around now and I understand like everyone's just a caterpillar. They're all in that stage. They don't understand. They don't get it. They have not received their wings. And I've gone through that. And when God intervenes, you will know. And that I truly believe. Like I understand that there is something way bigger, and that we are all connected. And since then, my thirst for wisdom and knowledge has just.
It's just like
give me, like Britney Spears. Give me more, 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 because it's what feeds me to get through my day every single day, and I just love it.
And I don't know if this is common with a lot of people, but for me, I grew up being so scared I was going to die. Like every day, I didn't want to go to sleep. I was afraid I was going to die. And my teenager actually had the same thing happen, and I'm like, there's nothing you need to worry about. You are fine. And I don't know, she's already awakened, but before this, she was very scared. And now I don't really have a fear of death.
I mean,
I know what's on the other side. I've already been shown, because when you awaken, you start to get flashes of what is on the other side. Or for me, it was
what's waiting for you.
Or for me, it was home. It's like I know what was there. I know where I came from, and of course, that's where I want to go back. It's amazing. Y'all should see it. But I'll bring pictures next time.
Well, we're gonna have a little.
I'll show you what it's really white. Looks just like this, but brighter. And that's pretty much. And it just felt wonderful.
And it's glittering. It's so glittering. I know mine's glittering.
It was like the best fingernail polish ever.
Right.
It was, but it was really, it's really amazing. And in fact, if people knew that, then that's probably, people would start to want to end their lives here. And that's not something you can do.
That's crazy that you say that, because like, I do not fear death either anymore. And I used to be very afraid of it. And for me to go through this autoimmune disease for 5 years, and for the longest time think that like, there's no way that I'm going to heal. I'm going to end up dying from this. And now I'm at a point where I'm like, get me out of here. I'm ready to go now. But I know I can't leave. And even when I try to.
You can't leave of your own hand, because then that's when you have the reincarnation of you have to finish what you started. You will be brought back. It's like, if you don't do the job right the first time, then you have to come back and do it again.
I think we're giving. I still think that we might be given the option. Oh, well, this is just my personal belief.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going. Like, say I was accidentally to take my life, which I know I can't because I've already tried it multiple times. Can't seem to leave this realm anyway, so I gave up on that. But like, I've been researching people that have committed suicide and they're on the other side and they didn't reincarnate, but they're literally trying to fulfill their mission through talking to others, and that they're not allowed to progress even further.
Yes, so
I'm
they're
like,
still stuck. You still have to finish what you started.
Yeah, I was like, so he's
exactly.
And his name's Erik also, and I researched this, and it's called Channeling Erik, and he's now communicating through his mother, and she lost her son, and he's like, I was supposed to do this while there, get this done so I can move forward on my path. And I'm
so
like,
you
that's
don't
pretty
get out of
neat.
it. That's what people don't understand. You have to
like
come back somehow, whether it be in spirit
soul
only.
mission, or you are in that blueprint, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts. So you might as well go with the flow.
There's no easy out. It's just so we have to go through that stuff whether we like it or not. But so for me, I the fear of death has totally flipped. I just don't even. It doesn't even bother me. It's like whenever it happens, it happens. I've been told I'll be here a long time.
I've been told I've been here a long time too.
Shit, really? I haven't had very much fun here.
I'm having more fun now.
I am having more fun now.
Than I was before, that's for sure.
But having an open mind, I see a lot more fun now. Like everything else was just learning lessons up until this point. And so now God's bringing amazing people into my life to like.
And then we have to implement those lessons. And then it's also like, come, turn back, go back and teach them what you've learned. And I'm like, God, but they think we're crazy. And I'm like, well, Jesus did it, so I can do it too. So
yeah, exactly.
And to learn that we're here to do what he did and even go further. I'm like, that's a real test. Some days I wake up, I'm like, that's a really hard test that you really must want us all to get to that point. But I'm also like, I'm up for the challenge. I'm like, I see myself one day speaking to large crowds about this, and I sit and I research, and I'm like, I watch other people that are doing this, and I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, it's something that I have a passion for now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, because there's so many people willing to learn. They just can't speak out because they feel like, people will think that they're crazy. And good news, you're not crazy.
Call
you're
me
one
crazy.
of us.
I got you crazy. So I love Britney Spears so much. All her lyrics have to do with crazy. I'm like, it makes so much sense on a soul level to me. It really does. So crazy.
Exactly. All right. Is there any other questions here that we, all my fears seem to have went down. Like I used to be scared of so many different things, and now I just go with the flow. I think that's kind of how it is with spirituality, is you kind of get to a point of, you help who you can, you try to focus your service on others, and you just go with the flow, because you soon realize that you can only do what you can do.
Right?
And that's about it,
I'm like,
other than that.
My last thing is since it's 11/11, I would like to set the intention for me and Carol to work together for the betterment of all humanity and to put ourselves out there. I'm loving what we're doing, but I can tell that this is going to be a new beginning for us.
Yeah,
and this is going
this is
to
just
take
a step.
Yeah. But I see with all the stuff that I want to do and changing humanity and all the stuff that you want to do and changing humanity, there's definitely a reason how God brings people together, and,
yes,
and I understand
absolutely.
that. And I look forward with today being 11/11 and setting a new intention just to see where we are a year from today.
Yeah, that would be good, because this is actually our first podcast, really, because we explained each other on the last two. So this is kind of...
I'm excited to see where this takes off to. And
absolutely.
even though I was awake at this time last year, didn't even realize 11/11 last year.
Yeah.
Like, did not look at November 11 as, like, didn't...
No. I always made wishes growing up.
Over my head.
With 11/11, I was like, because it looked really symmetrical on a clock to me. So I was like, I always made wishes and stuff like that.
I made my wishes. I'm going to make more wishes.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's all I have to say.
Believe in your wishes. If you're making a wish, you better believe it.
And if you're making a wish, what I've learned is you have to see it to full completion.
Absolutely.
So, and that's where I've had my downfall. I've been wishing for stuff that
it's like, I wish, and it's gone.
I want to do this, but at the same time, I'm like, but do I really want to do that?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what? That wish didn't come true.
You have to feel it.
Yeah.
Feel it and know. Yeah, feel that it's real and know it's real. I mean, it's like a step beyond faith. Faith is knowing that, or faith is, believing, but it's knowing that it's happening. You just know. Of course, you have to have belief first, but knowing there's no...
Gnosis.
Yeah.
I've been researching that, Gnosticism.
Yes.
We're going to call it a night, a day.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I don't know what time of the day it is right now. It's like...
Yeah,
still looks like
so
morning.
Overcast.
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
But anywho, I got to go reading. I got lots of reading to do.
I have some I'm stopping on the way home to get bubble
bath too.
Getting bubble bath for sure.
I have my sea salt and I have my Himalayan salt and yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, with the whole spirituality thing, everybody moves at their own pace, and we're all here for each other. We're all here to help each other, not compete against each other. And so that's the beautiful thing. And we're all members of the same race. We are the human race, and we're trying to get through this, with the least amount of pain.
It's like you realize you eventually have that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we are the same person.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason that I should be holding you back.
Yeah.
I should be trying to better you, no matter if you're gay, straight, bi, male, female, black, white, Asian, whatever ethnicity, doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah.
I'm like, and for me to have reached that point in my life at such a young age compared to people who are twice my age, who are still racist, and I'm like, there's so much work to be done. So I'm just like, put me where you need me and I'm good to go. And I love that. So
absolutely.
And
that's the deal, is when you finally realize that if you're hurting someone, you're hurting yourself.
Yep.
And I didn't grow up like that. I was like, you know, if you were...
They hit you, hit them back. You know, like,
I was a country girl. That's what we did. Go out there and figure out your differences. Go get in a fight. You know, that's how it was. And now it's like, I don't want to hurt anyone. I just want to love them.
And I've never been a physical person. I've always been the crybaby and stuff, but I understand it now. Like, I'm just an emotional, like, why would you do that?
Yeah. Well, I would, if I was backed into a corner, I could...
Oh, me too. I learned how to fight.
Angel, my little demon stays in the basement usually.
Don't make me start with my
she
hat.
Can come out. Anyway, don't make me take my earrings off.
Or pop off my nails. Anyway, guys, we are going to call it an end. Our next podcast is going to focus on
food and spirituality.
Healing with food, which is something I'm very, very excited about.
Yes.
So,
and if you all have any ideas or any questions for us, definitely send us the questions and we'll put it on there and answer them and research them and all that. So
and be sure to share the video with all your friends and family, post it in other groups, and like us on YouTube.
Yes, absolutely.
Have a blessed day.
Bye.
Bye.
For all the people who judge without knowing, just throw the peace sign, tell them good vibes only, yeah. They were hating, but we didn't even notice, cause we're on them good vibes only, yeah. The shit gets wavy, like we're in the ocean, cause we're on them good vibes only, yeah. For all the people who judge but don't know me, I just throw the peace sign, tell them good vibes only.